Today's video has a lot in it, okay? First, I'm going to talk about Jeff Lewis dragging John Jansen and some things that Taylor and him are alluding to. I'm going to play you the soundbite. I'm going to comment in between. Then we're going to spill some tea about the Real Housewives of Orange County reunion, and I'm going to talk about the looks as we go and share what some of the fans feel about them. So there's a lot in this video. Try to give it your full attention. If you can't, maybe watch it in pieces. It's a bit long, but I had to cover a lot in it. I only have so much time to do videos per week. So, unfortunately, my videos have to be longer than 7 to 10 minutes, which is everybody's attention span on here. So come back if you don't finish this one, because there's a lot of tea, and I bury it throughout. Oh, and like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. Oh my gosh. So I just got done listening to Jeff Lewis and Taylor Armstrong's show from September 22nd on Jeff Lewis Live. And he drags John Jansen. Taylor talks about some things that I think I know what she's really talking about. She alludes to them. She doesn't say them. So I want to tell you what I think they are. Pay attention to the first part. Some of this information's repetitive. Some of it is new mixed in with the repetitive, okay? So just, if you've listened to my other videos, you might pick up on it.
Shannon Beador, you obviously, you and I got kind of dragged into this because we were all out together on Friday at Nobu, which was really fun. It was you and me and Shannon and John Jansen and your husband John and Stu. And we had a really nice evening. And then we continued on to the Elks Lodge next door.
Yes, so much fun.
By the way, I loved it.
I love it too.
I thought it was so fun.
It sounds divey.
It kind of.
Well, I thought it was like for old people. And it's a ton of
It was a good crowd.
It's a good crowd.
We're kind of old.
Like music. Yeah.
But it was like every age bracket, right? I mean, You saw kind of older people dancing, like older meaning 60s, maybe 70s. But then there was all these like young kids there too. I thought it was a fun crowd. And
Jeff Lewis couldn't wait to talk about Shannon Beador's DUI the next day or whatever on his show. He knew he was going to get press coverage. Who is he kidding? Didn't need the review on the weird place, though. Just saying. Could skip that part.
Drinks are cheap, and I didn't buy any, but I assume they're cheap, no?
Do you think I buy my own drinks, Jeff?
No, I don't.
Who paid for this tab?
John Jansen did, I think.
Yeah, he's good about that.
Yeah.
So John Jansen gets the tab for everybody, and now they're going to drag him.
John Jansen paid for it, but we had a great time. But then we called it at 10:30. You called it at 10:30 because we all left. We left at the same time.
Right.
So then the next day, Shannon and John go out, and then unfortunately she gets the DUI and gets in the accident and the whole thing. But did you see page 6 where they took a picture from us together on Friday? And then it was you, me, Stu, and Shannon, and it said help wanted. So then I had to clarify, I wasn't with her on Friday.
I wasn't.
We went home at 10:30.
I remember that article, but I don't think it was really saying they were all together. By the way, there's a piece that sort of doesn't match up for me. See if you guys think so. Kelly Dodd said that Shannon Beador was out with her girlfriends on Saturday night. So how did John Jansen get then added to that night? You'll hear him talk about it in a minute. He sounds like Shannon went out with John, but Kelly said Shannon went out with her girlfriends. So did she go out a few times that night with different people, maybe drinking?
Yeah.
So I don't know how we got involved, but clearly.
You said something funny because last night when we were having dinner, I'm like, I have never, ever, ever seen, of all the years that I've known Shannon, I've never known her or seen her drink and drive. And what did you say?
I didn't even know she had a car. Legitimately, I was like, wait, she has a car? I've been to her house. I couldn't tell you what color her car is. I've never seen her drive a car.
It was a nice car. It's a BMW 7 Series.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I've never seen Adrienne Maloof drive either.
I don't think I have either. You're right. She's always in that Escalade, being driven. Mm-hmm. That's a nice life.
It's a really good life.
I get car sick, though.
Yeah, no, you have to drive.
Yeah, I get really car sick, especially because she lives up windy Mulholland. I'd be throwing up every day.
You'd be so skinny.
People would think I was on Manjaro.
Exactly.
Does anyone else get the thirsty vibe here? Why bring up Adrienne Maloof in this interview about this? It's so random.
We're the only two people not on it.
Have you talked to Shannon?
We have text. But you've talked to her, right?
Yeah, I talk to her pretty much every day to check on her. She's not in the best place. Obviously, this is a really, really rough time for her, and I'm just trying to be supportive and there for her and listen to her and all of that. I encouraged her because, where she's living now, she moved out of, she was living, I loved her house before.
Me too.
But and I think actually somebody filmed a commercial in that neighborhood. I think it was Living Spaces actually. And it upset the neighborhood, all the neighbors, because I think they took up the whole street and trucks and all of that. So the homeowners association got together and banned filming. So she had to move out of the house, unfortunately. So she is in a temporary location.
Just to be clear about this part, this is Shannon Beador in her old house, which we've seen on the show many times. She moved in it in 2020. Here's Taylor Armstrong helping her move out of her house in August of 2023 because they took to social media to talk about the move out. Shannon captured the image with "This is how you know who your real friends are. They help you move out of your house."
Water, but there's zero privacy, zero. And there's paparazzi all over her right now. Like she can't even walk Archie. She can't even go outside to walk Archie.
I guess the Paps have gotten much worse in Orange County. There used to be none there. That top picture's Shannon Beador's temporary residence that Jeff Lewis is talking about. I mean, it doesn't look like a great place to walk a dog anyway. There's no grass. But then you look at the bottom, that's John Jansen's house. But again, pretty accessible if there are paparazzis everywhere.
There's no backyard. Because her front yard is water.
Right.
And there's no place. So I told her, you really should go stay with friends for the next few weeks. And I think she's doing that now. I don't think she's at the apartment anymore. I told her she can come up and stay with me anytime she wants.
And she knows she's always welcome to stay with me too.
She might need to break it up because I think she was talking about going to Vicky's, which I think is good because she's behind the gates there.
Yep.
So she'll have some privacy. But I said to her, like, if you feel like you're maybe overstaying your welcome, come up and stay at my house for a few nights.
Yeah.
Then you can go, there's a lot of us that are willing to just, to take her in while she heals,
Absolutely. And
heals physically, heals emotionally. Yeah. So I'm just trying to be the best friend that I can be to her. I know you are as well. And I believe I'm really proud of her because she is going into pretty intensive therapy. And
okay, first of all, the best friend that you are with Shannon, I'm like, she hasn't even called her and they haven't even talked on the phone. They've only texted. So how besties are they? My first phone call would be to my best friend, like, oh, crap, this is bad. This is bad, sister. I think we're using best friend wording a little bit loosey-goosey here. Just saying. Here's the part where Jeff Lewis drags John Jansen.
It's starting next week, but it's pretty intense. Like when I go to therapy, it's an hour. When she goes, she's looking into like these really intensive courses, which I think I'm happy about it because I've always said, I personally don't believe that Shannon is an alcoholic. Personally, I believe there's some other issues there. And I do believe that Shannon is a pleaser. And I think that if she's around, I think like John's semi-retired, so he can stay up till midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning every night if he wants. And I think she kind of goes along with it. Mm-hmm. When, maybe she wants to go home maybe there's a part of her that wants to go home at 10, stop at one drink. She feels like she has fun with John. She loves John. He wants to go out to another place or he wants to do karaoke. She goes along with it. But then I think she regrets it the next day.
I agree.
So the whole kind of people pleasing and all that, I think she's, we'll take a look at that, hopefully.
So I just kind of died a little when I heard that because that's not fair. Shannon Beador is an older woman. She's 50 plus years old. She can absolutely know when to go home and when not to, especially with a quote unquote friend and not her boyfriend anymore. If she doesn't want to keep drinking, she can always say, bye, I'm going to go. Now, maybe what we're not getting out of this conversation is that John and her had a fight and that's why maybe she got in her car and drove because she was overly served and she didn't want to call an Uber because she was charged over an argument or something that occurred between them. Maybe she wanted to chase after him. Who knows? Something's missing here. I don't understand this excuse. It doesn't make sense to me. It seems very unfair to John. John Jansen's son also got arrested for vandalism in Orange County. He's a car enthusiast, and he sort of has a whole shtick on his Instagram of being kind of an anarchist or anti-system kid. You know, he's in his 20s, but John's had a tough week. You know, that said, I do believe that Shannon's drinking has to do with abuse, okay? Have you guys read Leslie Beador and David Beador's divorce filings? There was this little nugget in the middle of Leslie Beador's restraining order under number 2. This is Leslie's restraining order against David Beador. She says, David Beador has physically hit my mother, Diana Cook, on or about February 2023. Mr. Beador begged my mother not to press charges or get a restraining order, so she did not do so. My mother sometimes stays with me to watch Anna in my home, and Mr. Beador has expressed that he hates her. He has called my mother derogatory names and called her fat many times, both to my mother and to me. I believe my mother is in great bodily harm and is continually harassed by Mr. Beador. My 2 minor children from a previous relationship, Inga and Andres Puck, need protection as I have joint custody of them with their father, Eric Puck. Mr. Beador has called my children derogatory names, has yelled in their faces, and has kicked them out of our marital home several times. Their father, Eric Puck, had a TRO filed against Mr. Beador on August of 2022. I bring this up because remember Shannon Beador brushed off her husband David's former battery arrest as a, quote, argument that was quickly resolved. But then Radar reported, but in reality, the case dragged out over 3 years and even landed the Real Housewives of Orange County dad in a batterer's treatment program. And they had downloaded the minutes that had never been seen before from California's Orange County Superior Court. And that the 53-year-old father of 3 was slammed on March 4, 2003 with a misdemeanor charge of, quote, battery committed against a spouse, which according to state law is punishable for up to a year in jail.
Delving into that kind of therapy is going to be really overwhelming at first. She's going to have to shed a lot.
Well, I told her to ease into it.
I agree.
I think going, I think
all day,
every day, 5 days a week is a lot.
Yes. I think it'd be mentally and physically just exhausting.
I do. And I suggested, I said, why don't you start off 1-2 days? Because it's intensive, it's all day. And then work up to it.
I agree.
She wants to take it very seriously, though. She wants to do the work.
She's so committed to it, which I'm very, very proud of her. And I honestly think, everyone, actually, she's had thousands and thousands of DMs with support. But there are those critical people. But you know what? This could happen to anybody, really. It really could happen to anybody. And I think maybe that's why she's had such support and sympathy, because she made a mistake, right? She made one mistake. And as far as I know, this is the only time that I know of her ever doing this.
Absolutely.
And it's unfortunate how it all transpired.
She's definitely taken responsibility for it. And
yeah.
I think she's going to heal a lot, even for other things that she's been needing to work through.
Remember that.
Sometimes taking all those Ubers and everything, it gets very, very expensive. I don't think it was about money. I just didn't think things through. I don't think she thought things through. And I really don't. I do know. I do know all the details, but I'm going to keep those private.
So now it probably wasn't just the drinking that brought Taylor and Shannon Beador together. It was probably the fact that Taylor Armstrong is an advocate for women that have been in abusive situations based on her own experience. And also that was one of the charities that she was involved with, even going back to, 2010 or something like that. So I have a feeling that she's counseling Shannon a little bit on this front. So there's another part of this interview where Taylor Armstrong brings up Dwight, her bestie, and she also brings up that she was paid on a day rate basically for every time she shot. And she actually shot every single thing she possibly could. And Jeff Lewis commented that she was in most of the show, which is unusual for a friend of. And I think he was sort of trying to promote her in the sense of making her into a full-fledged housewife. And so that's where Jeff's, I think, agenda was, to try to help Taylor in that way. But anyway, she was only paid a day rate, but I guess she did all right because they used so much of her in the show per Jeff Lewis, his perception of it. So, I mean, I don't know beyond that, but she said she got a day rate. So that means Vicky got the day rate. So they are doing this new way of paying people on the show that wasn't around back in season 1, 2, and 3 of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So that's interesting, I thought. I just wanted to share that with you. By the way, Dwight is not just her best friend, but that's in the Patreon. Now I'm going to spill some Real Housewives of Orange County reunion tea and talk about the reunion looks as we go. Special thanks to Bravosnarkside for doing this collage, as well as doing a poll I'm going to share with you along the way with her very, very large, much larger than mine, fan base in the Bravo community. All right, so let's talk about the reunion looks for Real Housewives of Orange County that just dropped. Obviously, you know my take on Taylor Armstrong. She looks like a giant popsicle. Some people said that it was very California, like sunshine or some stuff, but no, it just is a giant popsicle. I'm just saying. Here's Heather Dubrow. She looks very thin here. Just saying, look at her shoulders and arms. Wow. Well, we know that Heather was promoting semaglutide because I do believe that Terry's added that to his list of services at his clinic, even though originally he was sort of anti-it. He did this whole thing about Lisa Marie Presley. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you go into my Real Housewives of Orange County playlist, you'll see a video about it. But Heather Dubrow, here she is. I do like the dress. It's actually really hot, and it does show her body off, so that's great. If you guys don't know, the cast, I think, was coming for Heather Dubrow a lot on the current season of Real Housewives of Orange County, which I do believe is going to be a big topic at the reunion. But secretly, a lot of the women can't stand Heather. They feel like Heather is a bully in real life. And so that's why you kind of see her being taken down in this season. Just saying. And I'm actually shocked that Tamra Judge didn't come harder for Heather on the show this season. I sort of feel like that's what Heather thought was going to happen, but it didn't. But I think probably Heather was mitigating. You know what I mean? As problems she heard were coming up, she was dealing with them behind the scenes. Now, Tamra Judge's look, I guess the fans didn't really like it too much. I mean, it's all right. It's not very dressy, but maybe they were told to dress down on this reunion as a shout out to the kind of old school, old days. But to me, this looked like throw it on to go to the mall. But of course, you're talking about me, and I wear these around my farm. Normally, Jennifer Pedrani looks amazing on the show because she's so fit. Okay, she could wear like a bag and it would look good. But this outfit screams that her man Ryan picked it out for her. It's cheesy, and honest to God, those shoulder pads and sleeves are not a shout out to the 80s. They just look like a superhero outfit that was poorly designed. It totally reminded me of this.
In the boots. No capes.
No capes, no capes. Well, there's been a lot of buzz that at the reunion, Heather Ahman is going to make an appearance. Vicky Gunvalson allegedly isn't making an appearance. Taylor appears as a friend of, like in one of the scenes, you know how they bring in the friend of for a period of time, and they do stay true to that. They don't bring her in for the whole reunion. So some of the fans wondered if Heather Ahman was going to actually make an appearance on the Real Housewives of Orange County reunion. I don't think so. I really don't. Heather actually was casting for the show, and then she decided not to do it on her own. She just didn't feel it was right for her. But she is very close to Taylor Armstrong, or friendly with her. So maybe Heather is, you know, chit-chatting with the women about what's happening behind the scenes. But she doesn't want any part of the drama, I can tell you that. If you remember from the show, Heather gets brought up, although she doesn't appear, as the person that Ryan, Jennifer Pedrani's player, boyfriend sent his DICK picture to, and supposedly it was a mistake and he did it to his family also, and, you know, came clean to Jen, but it was interpreted by some of the women, Tamra specifically, that this was actually maybe intentional and Ryan might have really liked Heather. And so there was maybe some sort of flirtation going on between Heather and Ryan, and Jennifer just doesn't want to face that fact. To make a long story short, I don't think Heather Amon's going. All right, let's move on to Shannon's outfit. I really liked Shannon in this dress. I thought it was really nice. It's a bit dressy with a sparkly netting, and then it has a really fitted, you know, yellow dress showing off her figure, and she looks good. Her hair is kind of fun and retro. I do like the 80s shout out because the color schematic is sort of 80s. And I thought this was a win. You guys tell me what you think. Did you enjoy this dress? I did. I did because look where the darker color orange is located. It's designed to make you look thin. And I really appreciated the design. And I think it's elegant. And I think it could be dressy, but it's also comfortable for a long show, a long day. I mean, this dress won to me. Gina's dress, I did not like. It's too short. The slip on the side is too high. I don't know what the hell is happening in her cleavage. There's like some sort of sparkly black and silver chain. She looks like she's trying out for the part in Pretty Woman that Julia Roberts had. It's just not working. And Gina, because she always plays into her fan base, which is like, I'm from New York, I'm, you know, a straight shooter, I don't have money, I've struggled, now I'm rebuilding my life. It's like I wanted her to do something different to demonstrate that her character has gone through a rite of passage and really come to this show elegant, elevated, and I get this. So that was a want for me. All right, you guys, well, let me know what you think about all this, and we'll leave it there for now. They've been pretty good about keeping the secrets around Real Housewives of Orange County reunion. Except, of course, Taylor. It's gonna get dirty. Oh, boy. All right, you guys, like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. Comment below with any gossip you've heard. What do you think about all this? And for those of you who made it to the end of this video, I love ya. You're my kind of gal or guy.